Let's start with Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton believed that time was like an arrow. Once you fired it, it went in a straight direction. 1 second on the Earth was 1 second on Mars, was 1 second on Jupiter. It never reversed directions. Along comes Einstein, who says, not so fast, not so fast. Time is like a river, old man river, that meanders around stars, speeds up and slows down. The new wrinkle in all this, which is causing all the excitement and the dismay of philosophers, is that this river of time can fork into two rivers. Or perhaps the river of time can have whirlpools and time can go in on itself. In that case, time travel is something you have to take very seriously, because Einstein's equations do allow for time travel. And they're blueprints, blueprints for different kinds of time travel designs that are compatible with Einstein's theory. For example, gigantic spinning cylinders. You go around the cylinder and you come back before you left. Colliding cosmic strings. You wind around these cosmic strings and you come back before you left.
And the key element is that in Einstein's theory, it allows this under certain solutions?
That's right. Time and space are like a fabric, like rubber, like a trampoline net. However, if you stretch the trampoline net so much, it can rip, perhaps. And perhaps you can turn this trampoline net into a pretzel and allow yourself to go backwards in time. Now, of course, there's a catch. There's always a catch in these things. The energy, the gasoline necessary to do this is fabulous. Even an atomic bomb does not have enough energy to drive a time machine. For a time machine, you need the energy of an exploding star.
How about all the logical paradoxes that one would come across in time travel, going back to the past, killing your grandmother, and all of those kinds of issues?
Or meeting your teenage mother when she's a teenager and she falls in love with you. So how can you be born if your teenage mother just fell in love with you? There are two ways to resolve these paradoxes. The first is self-consistency, that if you want to shoot your parents before you're born, there's something preventing you from pulling that trigger. Maybe there's a hidden law of physics that says you cannot create a time paradox. I don't believe that.
Yeah, that seems far out.
That's far out. I believe that the river of time forks into two rivers. If you saw Back to the Future Part 2 very carefully, Doc Brown, this Einstein figure, goes to the blackboard and draws a timeline from the 50s to the 80s. And then he draws a separate line that splits off from the main timeline. The river of time forks into two rivers.
Is this getting to the so-called many-world interpretation of quantum mechanics? Would that be?
That is the simplest way to resolve all these paradoxes.
That never seemed very simple to me.
Well, it's the simplest in the sense that you don't have to add any other assumptions other than quantum mechanics.
Sure.
So if you go backwards in time and save Abraham Lincoln from being assassinated in the Ford's Theater, you've saved somebody else's Abraham Lincoln, who's genetically equivalent to your Abraham Lincoln, but you've entered another universe. If you shoot your parents before you're born, you've shot somebody else's parents before you're born, who's genetically equivalent to your parents. So you can go backwards in time continually, monkey with your own past. However, you're monkeying with, in some sense, a parallel past.
Right.
Now, Stephen
Maybe
Hawking...
creating a parallel past.
Creating a whole new
universe.
That's right. And Stephen Hawking even said there's got to be a laws of physics preventing this thing from happening. Well, we've tried and tried and tried and failed. We cannot find any law of physics preventing you from going backwards in time. It seems to be consistent with the known laws of physics. The trick is you have to have this energy on the scale of a star. You'd have to be a very advanced civilization. So these tourists from the future are just not 100 years into the future. These tourists from the future would be perhaps millions of years in the future, the ability to control the output of a star. We physicists are hot rodders of physics. We push the equations until they break down. So Stephen Hawking assumed that they would break down. Well, we were shocked. They didn't break down. The laws of physics seem to be compatible with time machines. This is very unsettling because it means that perhaps, just perhaps, time travel is possible for advanced civilizations. Cannot be ruled out.